Hello. Today I'm going to continue our study of Judges, for those of you who might at this point be following along, with the story of Ehud. And because this story is such a complete soap opera in and of itself, I'm just going to read this story in its entirety. But I want to remind you that the book of Judges is a series of stories that are all quite dramatic, that exemplify for us over and over again how there's a cycle that we've seen in our personal histories, our histories that go all the way back to the Israelites, where there is an era of disobedience, corruption. There's a time of foreign oppression, where we've been turned over to things that oppress us, corruption, worshiping of other gods. And we cry out in distress, and then we are delivered by God from the situation that we have in fact gotten ourselves into. So there's a constant theme of God's ever-present love for us and His saving grace. So the story of Ehud begins chapter 3, verse 12 in the book of Judges. Once again the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel. Getting the Ammonites and Amalekites to join him, Eglon came and attacked Israel, and they took possession of the city of palms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for 18 years. Again the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and He gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Jerah the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about 1.5 feet long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. He presented the tribute, this gift offering, to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way the men who had carried it. At the idols near Gilgal, he himself turned back and said, "I have a secret message for you, O king." The king said, "Quiet," and all of his attendants left him. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his summer palace and said, "I have a message from God for you." As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, which came out his back. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said, "He must be relieving himself in the inner room of the house." They waited to the point of embarrassment, but when he did not open the doors of the room, they took a key and unlocked them. There they saw their lord fallen to the floor, dead. While they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the idols and escaped to Serah. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went down with him from the hills, with him leading them. "Follow me," he ordered, "for the Lord has given Moab, your enemy, into your hands." So they followed him down, and taking possession of the fords of the Jordan that led to Moab, they allowed no one to cross over. At that time they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not a man escaped. That day Moab was made subject to Israel, and the land had peace for 80 years. So again, that's just a classic story from the book of Judges, where the people have done evil in the sight of the Lord. They are oppressed. They've been given over to a foreign ruler. Then they cry out for mercy, and God sends someone to save them. In this case, Ehud. So as we apply this to our lives, remember that if you found yourself in a time of distress, cry out to God and let God know that you seek Him and His mercy, and He will rescue you. Amen.